Episode 9 of Arcane Season 2 opened with Jinx trying to kill herself with the help of one of her gemstone powered bombs. Ikko arrived from the alternate dimension into his own dimension to prevent Jinx from doing so. Yes, he had to use his time reversal machine a bunch of times to finally stop Jinx from pulling the pin. I guess in the original dimension, Ikko was fond of Jinx and was really sad to become enemies. So in the alternate dimension, when Ikko briefly got to have a romantic fling with Jinx, he returned to his own dimension with the intention of trying to set Jinx on the path of redemption. Well, kudos to him, because he succeeded in his endeavor. And just when the going was getting tough, during the battle between the Noxian and the Virus of Piltover, Jinx, Echo, and the Firelights made an explosive entry. They knocked over a bunch of Noxian soldiers and Victorian robots, but things got a little sentimental when the Victorian Warwick was unleashed. Jinx and Vi tried their best to subdue the Victorian Warwick, but he was more powerful than the both of them combined. Even when Victor's spell was shut down, Warwick continued to attack Vi. That was when Jinx decided to save her sister by jumping into the exposed Hexgate's core in the gemstone mesh with Warwick. To make sure that Warwick was dead, Jinx finally pulled the pin on the makeshift bomb that she was toying with earlier in the episode. It was full circle moment for the daughter and her father figure because in season 1, Jinx explosive kicked off their physical and psychological transformation, and now it is one of her explosive devices that's brought the process to an end. But has Jinx actually perished? Well, I don't think so. You see, at the end of Arcane Season 2 Episode 9, we see Catelyn looking at the blueprints of the Hex Gate and the part of the structure that she posted where the cooling shaft. Every fan of Star Wars franchise knows that if any kind of reactor room that's prone to explosion has an air shaft in it and someone falls in or around it, they were born to survive the blast. So that scene with Catelyn and the blueprints was probably a hint that Jinx survived the detonation by falling into one of those cooling shafts. You know the golden rule of television. Never assume that a character has died until and unless you see the body. Ambesa's weird and wild thirst for ultimate power pushed her to collaborate with not just Victor but Singed as well. That's why in the finale of Arcane Season 2, we saw her and her Noxian army delivering Victor and his robot to Piltover so that he could activate the Arcane. In addition to that, we saw that she had allowed Sinch to inject a bunch of Noxian soldiers with Shimmer. Yes, if that wasn't enough, she had armed herself with every rune at her disposal to avoid taking any stray shots. The soldiers of Piltover, led by Catelyn, put up a good fight, but they were no match for the Noxians. But Ampesa wasn't just about brute force, she was also really cunning. For starters, she had planted a spy in Catelyn's code in the form of a Maddie, who revealed her allegiance at the opportune moment by knocking out Catelyn. Also, she only pretended to deliver Victor to the Hex Gate via his cocoon. But in reality, the cocoon was empty and she used that to distract the soldiers of Piltover while Victor secretly made his way to the gemstone mesh of the Hex Gate's core. Ambessa gave Maddie the go-ahead to kill Catelyn by shooting her in the head. But Mel used her magic to cause the bullet to recoil and hit Maddie in the head, thereby killing her. Then Ambessa proceeded to engage in a 1 versus 2 fight with Catelyn and Mel. I think it was fair because Ambessa had her magic runs and her physical strength, while Catelyn had been stabbed in the gut by Ambessa and Mel hadn't really mastered her magical powers. Catelyn had to sacrifice her right eye to get ruins of Ambassa's wrist, and that gave Mel the opportunity to transport her mother to the Black Rose's realm. That said, while the Black Rose Sorceress was busy monologuing to Ambessa, Mel used all her energy to kill the Sorceress, or maybe she banished her. However, Ambessa didn't survive the ordeal and perished in Mel's arms after congratulating her daughter on her wit and strength. The Noxian soldiers raised their banners to announce Mel as the leader of Noxus. While Ambessa's whole feud with the Black Rose cult was difficult to understand because it was purposefully vague, Victor and Jay's journey was a tough nut to crack because it kept oscillating between the complex and convoluted. In every reality in existence, Victor was born with some kind of disease, and Jace was the exact opposite of him. But their dreams of cracking the code to arcane magic and making it accessible to the common public so that the world could move towards some kind of utopia were the same. In every reality, Victor and Jace's paths diverged when they later realized that the result of using the arcane and all the hex code related stuff would lead to death and destruction, and the former doubled down on his fascination with the arcane and its ability to erase conflict by making everyone a part of hive mind. The version of Victor that succeeded in this endeavor came to the realization that perfection couldn't be enjoyed with his Victorian robes because, well, they didn't have any thoughts of their own and simply acquired Victor's feeling, thereby making the whole exercise seem futile. That was when he decided to visit every reality in existence, appear in front of every version of Jace as a mysterious mage, give them a ruin, and set them on the path to stop every version of Victor. If you're wondering why this self-aware iteration of Victor didn't just kill every other version of himself, I can give you two reasons. Firstly, Victor didn't have the heart to murder every version of himself. And secondly, there was the case of free will. If the people of one of the realities wanted to make a version of Victor their god, then who was he to stop that from happening? Alright, now coming back to version of Victor and Jace that we have been following throughout Arcane. Victor was on the verge of turning Piltover into a dystopian landscape, with everyone including Jace living as part of his hive mind. However, Echo attacked Victor and gave Jace the opportunity to have heart-to-heart with his partner. Jace showed Victor what the mysterious mage version of him had been doing and helped him understand why the pursuit for perfection was pointless. Realizing the error of his ways, Victor decided to sever Piltover's connection with the Arcane with the help of Jace's ruin, and that caused the two friends to be seemingly erased from existence. The Victorian robots became defunct. The variants of Piltover and Zaun were released from Victor's grip, and they regained control of their minds and bodies. Victor's staff also crumbled away. Now I don't think that this version of Jace and Victor are dead. Maybe they have been transported to a realm between realms where they can continue to do scientific experiments without the risk of destroying the very fabric of reality. The mage version of Victor is definitely still out there, visiting alternate realities and prompting a new version of Jace to stop a new version of Victor. During the ending of Arcane Season 2, Zaunids and the people of Piltover paid their respect to all those who had given their lives to prevent Ambessa and Victor from having their way. Echo was seen sitting at the same spot where he had kissed an alternate version of Jinx in an alternate reality. Sevika joined the Piltover High Council, much to the dismay of some of the elderly officials, thereby finally allowing Zaun to finally have a say when it came to democratic and diplomatic decisions. Singed was finally reunited with his daughter, who looked kind of like one of Victor's zombies. But with the power of autonomy, the three-eyed raven from the Black Rose Orders temple seemingly extracted a piece of gemstone and joined Mel as she sailed, probably to Noxus. Last but not least, Vi and Catelyn sailed away into Horizon in search of new adventures. Now I know that Netflix, Fortiche and Riot Games have announced that this was the last and final season of Arcane. But we live in an era of sequel series and spin-off series. So, I think the showrunners meant that these two seasons brought the arcs of Jace, Victor, Vi and Catelyn to an end. However, in a sequel series or spin-off series, they might just take Mel, Echo and Jinx in interesting directions. Look, everything about the Madras and their feud with the Black Rose Order is a huge goddamn mystery. Given how Mel is a really solid character and Ambessa has proved herself to be one of the best villains of all time, the showrunners can delve into Ambessa's past and the impact of her decisions on Mel's present and future. Apart from that, I think the creators will bring back Jinx and give her the chance to live a romance-filled life with Echo. Thanks for watching, guys.